sure.
To any nigga, I'm the one on the poster holding Janet. I might just be the dopest freestyle nigga on the planet. When I rock the mic, I bust it off like a gauge. I let these niggas know freestyles ain't from a page.
Big Short Drive.
No doubt.
Shout out to Andrew.
Dude.
Shout out to Jock the Wax.
What up?
Let's use a spot. Talk about it, man. You know, just first, how did it all start? I know you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
You know, did you mess around when you were a kid doing, like, who was the inspiration?
I did. Well, this is so funny being in Hyde Park. I was born in Hyde Park, and so at Chicago Osteopath Hospital, sub 51st, off the chain. I was born here. I moved to LA when I was 4. Probably when I was 10 or 11, I was in class, and we used to get this free time, and I was just like, man, I just started writing. I just literally just started writing like stories, and then the stories got boring, and then I started writing them where they rhymed, and it was just natural. And so, I mean, even like maybe as early after the Bears like won the Super Bowl is when I really like started being like, man, I could really make words rhyme, and I could do it without thinking about it. I could actually just make something rhyme, and rise like Duncan Hines. Like, I could do that, like, instant. So I was like, this is crazy, but nobody cared. So when I got in high school, that's when it really started being like, yo, you need to do this talent show. Yo, you need to do this show perform. You need to perform at this house, this party. I started throwing parties and, doing rap battles and stuff. And we was making a lot of money in L.A., and then I moved back here. And when I moved back here, most of the cats here was like, they were more on live show. Like, their live shows were perfect. Like, I knew O-Type, Common, they live shows were real. But I was more improv. Like, I was like bringing improv to the theater. They had all of the things set up, but I was like, nah, this is how we gonna do it tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna try to say something hot. And that became kind of what Juice was in The Chi. Like, this dude comes, he don't know what he gonna say, but every week is something crazy.
In terms of like the freestyle, like, what's going through your mind? Like, is it like a zone you may get into? Like, what's the feeling? Explain the feeling when you're doing it.
There's two levels. There's the conscious, I'm just doing this because people are asking me level, or I'm conscious of what I'm saying. Like, I'm looking at your leader's hat, and I need to rap, and I'm dope with the flow, and you seeing that. There's that level, and then there's the zone where it's like the next few lines are already there, and I have to not listen to them, but access them and spit them. And then it doesn't matter who's around. So those two, you can always tell when I go into that different zone because everything sounds real succinct. It's like, okay, he wrote that. I always kind of mess up a little, even if people don't hear it, when I'm on the conscious level. Like, I'm in Dr. Wax, and I'm not whack. I rock the tracks. I'm hot and fat. I pop it. That's like the. But when I get into it, and I really get into it, and I access it, it's just a different zone, man. Yeah. And I've only heard a few people reach it. People ask me about Supernatural. They're like, yo, do you think he's like ridiculous? And I'm like, I think he's good, and I think he's actually real good. But I'm more, and he told me this, like, I'm more of a lyricist. I'm more of the syllables. He's a showman. Right. He's drama, high drama, and I'm more like, I'm more of them 3, 4 syllables. I like that type of freestyle, that type of battling. Right. But his battling is just as effective because it's so visual. You see it as it's happening, but I like that stuff where you listen like a year later and you're like, this dude just...
The mixtape game right now is like, that's the whole business model been changing.
Right.
It's like every mixtape, we got the Emily freestyle, we got the so-and-so freestyle. It's like a lot of these guys, it's like guys who can't write a written, but then they come off the freestyle and it's, it sounds amazing. So, like, is it really cats up there freestyling like that, or is it just like, why does an artist feel the need to put a freestyle label on this track like that?
Well, we got two distinct different cultures here in like New York, primarily, where they dominate the mixtape game. I mean, the South is killing, but New York was like, no, we're gonna push products separate from the label and get money, and the label won't know it. Their whole thing about freestyle is anything that's not on your album can qualify as a freestyle. We feel like a freestyle is something that you make up on the spot. The two often conflict, because you might hear Big L bust a freestyle on the radio, but he wrote it. You know what I'm saying? But they call it a Big L freestyle because in New York, it's never going to appear on none of his albums, none of his releases, so people are like, yo, that's a freestyle. But we see it a little differently, like a freestyle is different, so I think that's why they label it like that. They're not trying to disrespect the art form. If you tell them to come off the top of the head, then they'll do it. Like, oh, okay, I could do that. But if you just say freestyle, they're going to have their hottest verse ready because they're trying to get the most notoriety at the time. They're not trying to have flaws and mistakes. In New York, it's too cutthroat to be messing up. You got a couple chances. You got to kill it on the radio. So to me, that's how they think versus how we think. We think like, I think like, well, whatever happens, happens. If this ain't the best freestyle, at least they know I brought it,
right.
you know?
And do you feel like the battle scene is really like, how has it changed since, you know, maybe mid-90s, late 90s?
I think that's a good question, man. I think the primary thing that changed it is street battles. Like, battles used to just be like, you in a spot, I'm in a spot, we go head up. When street battles happened, people started knowing who they were going to battle. That's the big change. And so you would be able to prepare for someone. So you really, at the end, wouldn't really know who was the iller cat because both of these dudes had preparation time. And then when you're well known, like I guess I am in the freestyle realm or the battle realm, cats can prepare for you. You know, you're giving it the honest, well, old school freestyle effort, and these cats have been there for months knowing they're going to battle you as soon as they see you. So I think that's the change. And the other big change is cats rap to no music now. So when you rap to no music, it doesn't really prove to me that you're an MC. Again, you could be a good showman, you could have great lyrics, but as an MC, it doesn't have to fit to the beat, and you can win money like you couldn't do that back in the day. So I can't say I don't honor it because I enjoy it too. It's good theater, but it's slightly different from the principles that were instilled in my generation, where you just had to rap to the beat, it had to rhyme, it had to be ill, and you couldn't prepare it.
Okay. Back in, I believe it was 05, 06, the Chicago Rocks, the whole Rhyme Fest thing. Let's talk about that and, you know, how that went down and why it went down.
Well, it's funny. Me and Fessa, we've always, I think in this city we've always been somewhat interlinked. He's always been like the younger me. He was, when I first heard him, I was like, this dude is brilliant. You know what I mean? This dude is like brilliant. He was like 18, I was like 22 or something. And he was just, and he was always coming for me, which is what you're supposed to do when you're on the scene. You come for who you think is the man. At some point, that turned a little ugly, and I started resenting it. Like, dude, don't mention my name to make your name. Like, make your name and mention you, what you got to do. And he would do that, and then when I would show up, I wouldn't know, and he'd be like, what's up? And I'd be like, cool, what's poppin'? And they'd be like, man, Fess just said you were a pussy. And I'm like, he did? And they're like, yeah, and when you got there, he wasn't really saying that. Like, we were shaking hands. So I was like, well, see, shit like that, it made me, you know, holler at him. So I called Scrap Dirty, who was real cool with him, DJ, and I'm like, Scrap, you know, I need to get Fess on the phone. I'm tired of him mentioning my name. His album was coming out on J Records at the time. I was like, I don't want him using me to try to get no hype. I want to see how many records he sell on his own. I don't want Juice being a part of it. So the next night, when I was on stage, knowing he was in the house, or should have been, I'm like, dawg, if you here, come to the stage, because I'm always here. Like, you know, I'm one of them dudes you don't really have to find. I'm right here. And I really don't call nobody out no more because I don't get nothing from it. I got props already. There's no money in it. Dudes don't be as good. It's just whatever. But I'm like, yo, tonight, if you happen to be in the house, it'd be great to get this on tape and show the whole world who's better. If you still, for some reason, think that I've lost a step, you're tripping. You're on vacation. Like, you got full luggage and you're getting a check baggage fee. I have not. You have no idea where it's. So that's what that was all about. And then the papers wrote about it, and it was cool. And then the album came out and did what it did. Right. You know, but I just didn't want him to have no. I didn't want him to have no hype on me, no whatever. And you know, a lot of people have been trying to get us together to do shows, but I'm still kind of pissed off about some of that shit.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. You know, what's the, like right now? What's the, like how do y'all stand? I know he's doing the whole thing with Toledo and Mark Ronson, stuff like that.
I wish him the best. I wish him the best of luck. I just, like I said, we not fam, we not brothers. He said that one time. I'm like the little brother who antagonizes Juice all the time, but really we not like that. We not fam, we not cool. We both in the shy. Right. And so because of that, and me knowing he's a brilliant artist, I got the respect for him. But just leave my name out of it, and then I can be objective about that. You know, I don't mention Fest in nothing I do. In none of my records, I've never ever once mentioned him. I don't call him out. He's not in my subconscious. It's like I haunt him or something. But he ain't there for me.